to beat a win at Wembley.
Black who's going to go for it. Black for the 1 point to win the grand final for Halifax, and he's done it. Ben Black strike.
Hello! Welcome to another live stream of Talking Facts of Life. Proud to be sponsored by Eclipse Energy.
I'm sad.
Eclipse Energy! There we go. And delivery. As always, I'm Mike Haig, and joining me is a rather down in the dumps, Mr. Rick Farrell. I won't say how you're doing, but it's a daft question, isn't it? Daft question. Yes, it had to come sometime. It had to come. The run of victories, 9 in a row, ended at 9. It wasn't 10. I take full responsibility of that after putting the 10 judges score on before the game. But hey, I corrected my mistake. But yes, we did lose 25-6 to Widnes. We didn't really turn up. Shall we get into it? Let's do it.
So get your likes and comments.
Yeah, get your comments in. Let's hear what you've got to say. As I said on the kind of preview post. Is it as the bubble burst, or is it a bump in the road? Let us know what you guys think. Is it time for wholesale changes? If we can make wholesale changes, why do you reckon we lost? Just get your comments in. Let us know. I'll pose that question to you, Mr. Farrell. First of all, bubble burst or little bump in the road?
Well, everyone pretty much said the same thing, that it's been coming for a while, so I don't think you can say it's the bubble burst, because a lot of people sort of expected it to happen, so I would call it a bump in the road in answer to your question. Yeah. You cannot lose the ball that often and win any game against. We could have played against Pilkington Rex and lost playing like that if you're just dropping the ball cold. So it was disappointing. I think the fact that we built it up as we could have made a potential club record and then just sort of faltered. But I said to you, didn't I, on the way back, we're cursed on that. Something about Widnes. Yeah. Since we used every piece of luck we ever had when Grixie kept us up against York at Widnes. And since then, we've had no luck there. Well, really, anyway. So.
No, I don't think luck came into it, to be honest. It was just tell. It was. I'm a big believer in kind of body language and what players look like, and it just didn't look like we were at the races at all. Widnes wanted it. They didn't look like a side that was struggling, to be honest. Although I didn't necessarily rate them for kind of class and that, they had Danny Craven at half-back, and he kicked us to death. Played in a dinner suit, all the adages you want to throw, and they just wanted it more. And yeah, I think it's a bump in the road. It could potentially be a very big bump, but I don't think it is. I kind of agree with Grixie from what he was saying post-match, that I don't think they'll even bother with a review. There's no what's the point in reviewing that game, really, because we're not going to play on a pitch like that again. We're not going to play as badly as that again. It's just a blip. It's just a one-off. And like we said against Oldham, it's rubbish, but hopefully it's a one-off from there. Get your comments in for some concede comments, otherwise I have to go on our phones. As we said before, Facebook is a bit of a weird beast in terms of looking at the comments there. I'll champion a couple of players because there were some good performances. I thought Greg Worthington was fantastic again. He always made his yards. He was solid in defence. I thought Zach McComb again quite very well, and apart from that, he's struggling. And James Saltonstall.
Yeah, but that sort of goes without saying.
Yeah.
I think everyone was sort of wondering, who's going to be a player here. I don't think you can look further than Salt. He's turned up every week, hasn't he?
I'd say it's between him and Kevin Leroy for mine, to be honest. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Let us know. Right, so. Do you think anyone different from what I said at all?
Not really. I think I totally agree. Like, their half-backs outplayed us. Craven always seems to have a good game against us, and we know what a quality player he is from the time that he spent at Halifax. But it's just disappointing because we were down to our bare bones as well and all that sort of thing. But you just expected us to at least give him a game, and like Grixie said about it being like the Oldham game, we just never looked like winning from minute one, did we? You know, I mean, they bombed or had disallowed 3 chances, which they could have been out of sight by half time. It could have been 30-0 by half time, 30 points to 4 or whatever. Goal kicking, Woody missing that penalty, big moment in the game.
I think that we're going to come on to it, but I'll say it now. I think that just summed our day up, our mentality up. 6-4 up, and we've got them pressed on the line, and we decided to go for goal. And I think it'd have been academic if we'd have kicked the goal or not. I don't think it necessarily mattered really.
Oh, see, I disagree on that. I think it stood us in good stead. It sort of just notches us ahead slightly further, and it was obviously expecting it to be a close game, as it would have been if we hadn't have sort of self-imploded with dropping the ball on our line 10 times in a row, whatever, and then getting the ball back, redeeming it, and then knocking it on first tackle. It's just criminal, mate.
No.
The boys know what they put out for us. They know what they served up. I think Grixie said they were a bit down and dirty on themselves, and I'm not surprised. I saw them leaving the dressing room. They all looked very distraught.
Yeah, and so they should be. And they say they served a rubbish performance. You've got to take the licking sometimes.
You said as well, like, is it bump in the road? Or is it a bubble burst? I'll give you another beat. Is it blessing in disguise?
Oh,
is
yes.
It the sort of thing
it's like you're reading my mind. I think we can learn a lot from that game, really. Going back to the point about the choice to go for the penalty, I think it was paying too much respect to Widnes' defence, and just we need to try and win games rather than try not to lose them. If you know what I mean, it's just an attitude and mentality thing, which I think we got wrong there. I spoke to Stephen Tyra Baby after the game, and obviously he's going to score against us. The obligatory ex-Halifax player doing well and scoring against us, and he said himself that the players were really, really down in the dressing room after the game and that. But it's one game. Let's not have a meltdown. I'd be slightly disappointed if there's no meltdown, because it's been a while. That's the thing about winning loads of games, you get no meltdowns really.
Yeah, it was strange driving home last night, because you totally forget what it's like to lose a game.
Yeah.
We've had these winning games, even though we've been a bit disappointed in the performances. You're like, oh, but we won, and then you have a bad performance and a defeat. It's like that dejection that you feel. It's been a long time since we've felt that. So let's hope that we quickly get over it. They'll get into training this week. I'm sure they'll be chomping at the bit to put it right for us. Really.
I think they will, and like what you're saying, I'm going to come on to it. I genuinely think it'd be a blessed disguise, like the Oldham game was. Like no one wanted to feel that low, and it kind of did feel a little bit low on Sunday. And looking at the table after the game as well, it's just far too close for comfort. We've gone from comfortably third and a massive points difference to not that comfortably third. And our points difference has been eroding because we just can't seem to score any points at the moment. It's just, we've gone from scoring 40, 50 points and stuff to barely, well, not even getting to double figures on Sunday, but scraping the double figures.
Like fulfilling our fixtures could end up being our downfall, as daft as it sounds, because of the percentage thing. The more games we play, the lower the percentage points for the win and stuff. So the fact that we've actually done the league proud and got our games on could go against us, and we could end up having our sort of third spot nicked off us. So
it could do.
But we know what we're playing for. Blah blah blah.
It's shaping up the battle of the last game of the season to be an absolute corker.
It could be. There's a long way to go before that.
Could be, but that's how it's shaping up at the moment, because I think there's plenty of teams will take points off each other. To be honest, we've said it before. It's a bonkers league, and Swinton, who we've got this Sunday, he's not a gimme. They ran Bradford very close, and by all accounts, listening to Radio Leeds on the way back, John Keir said they were very lucky to win Bradford. And Swinton, they've got pride to play for. Yeah, they've officially been relegated, but they'll want to finish the season off. And like a couple of lads were saying at the game on Sunday, like Widnes are kind of in that position. They're playing for livelihoods. They're playing for contracts either at the same club or elsewhere.
We sort of hit Widnes at a bad time as well. They've had 4 or 5 games in a row where they've been leading at half time and sort of lost it and thrown it away in the second half. So they were really motivated, and obviously a team with Steve Tyra in it, and Grady and Craven, who've played for Fax before, was always going to be motivated, wasn't it? So we just seemed to hit them at a bad time, and they were sort of ascending and we were sort of declining. And we sort of met in the middle, didn't we? But I think Grixie put it perfectly when he said, like, we're in each other's shoes, really. Like, you look at the table, they're third, we're third, they're 10th, and it didn't look like that. It looked like a total reverse of that, didn't it? So
and speaking of like kind of fulfilling fixtures and stuff, we've got battered bodies at the moment, and came to roost. It was obvious that Woodburn Hall isn't fit at all, and I'll open a bit of a can of worms here, and again, I don't want to criticise Sam.
Hang on a minute, are you having a meltdown?
I know, I'm not having a meltdown at all. I just think when you've got Ben Tibbs on the bench, who had such a promising game against Newcastle, scored with his second touch, looked really, really good. You've got him on the bench, and it's so obvious that Woodburn Hall is injured. Why put him on the bench and why not play him when Woodburn Hall was obviously struggling? We needed something, and it was a point in the second half where one try could have got us right back into it and could have sparked us into life. I feel awful for the kid because he was warming up on the back of the sidelines, and then he decided to. He looked like a little kid in the corner, just playing with the ball, just like not knowing what to do. Do you think it was an error from Grixie not to put him on, or do you think it's one of those where the game was lost kind of thing? I don't know. I'm just trying to...
Depends, because obviously I'm assuming he's put him on because we are literally down to our last 17. That seems to be the way it is, and that's probably the reason why Woody played. But we know that Woody can create something from nothing. If you ask him, are you ready to go, and he says yes, how can you go against his word?
Yeah.
But is it the case of, like we said a couple of weeks ago, like, do you have to sort of protect a player from themselves and make that executive decision yourself? So I'm not too sure, to be honest. I think it were a bit daft just putting him on right at the end, but...
Yeah. When the game was lost.
When the game was lost.
Yeah, I could have had no effect.
All you're doing is adding an appearance stat to him, so maybe he gets some more money or whatever. But I'm not too sure. I think because he's got a bit of pace about him, by the looks of it, that Tibbs. But I don't think Ben Tibbs in that game is the reason why we lost.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that at all, really. But I just the game was crying out for something different, and putting Tibbs on for Woodburn Hall, putting him on the wing, and putting Salty to fullback, it would have been something different. And I don't like not dying wondering, really. I don't mind losing games at all, but try something different. If something working, just try something different rather than going through processes and all that sort of stuff. Whatever we were doing wasn't working. Widnes worked us out. They'd done their own work, and we just worked the races, really. We just need to do something different.
I don't think it was necessarily the case that they worked us out, because we did make breaks, but then we were forcing the pass.
Yeah.
There were chances where we had them scrambling back in defence. You take Barber a couple of times, you take your tackle, you then spread it to the other wing.
Yeah.
We'd have had them, 3 or 4 on 1. So it just lacking a bit of smarts. We looked rusty, to say we've had a weekend off as well and all that sort of stuff. You think we're going to come back bouncing after a long win streak and wanted to keep it alive. So, but like I said to you before, it's like a blessing in disguise. They'll have that metal about them now, where they'll be like, right, look, that's a line in the sand there. It's all up for now. So who knows? Imagine, say we got to the grand final. And we look back at that Widnes game.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, like we've been looking back at that Oldham game as well. So it swings and roundabouts. We can't win every game, and it's so disappointing after the great run we've been on. But it had to happen. And you mentioned we're down to 17 fit players. We're down to 16 fit players now because of Connor Davis getting injured.
It was disco dancing.
Yeah, we were in Disneyland. It's been a while since I've seen someone pirouetting and stuff after a tackle like that, and he was like Bambi on ice watching him walk off. But hopefully he's all right. He gets the care, the head care, and that's absolutely superb now. And I think it very doubtful he'll play this Sunday, to be honest. But again, who comes in for him? Well, we've got Tangata back.
Tangata.
Lovely. So at least we've got him back. Yeah, and we might see Sean Jones before the end of the season. We don't know. He was named in the 21-man squad, but is that just to fill numbers up? We don't know. But hopefully we do see him back.
Recruitment is the one that a lot of people will see. I'm assuming they're going to come on to it again.
Yeah. So let's go into it. Stephen Robert Shaw, thank you for joining us, Stephen. Need to strengthen our squad and cut them silly mistakes. All the person making yards is Saltley at Widnes, so let's move on to the Lions. Need to strengthen squad. Yes, it's obvious we need more numbers in, but unfortunately it's a case of we can't really do out in that respect. I've been kindly asked by a viewer of this podcast, who will remain anonymous, has been told to mention that there is no way that Amir Burra is coming back to Halifax. Unfortunately, he can't come back to Halifax. He's going to Salford at the end of the year, but because of the restrictions that are on people who've played certain games or whatever, he cannot come back to Halifax. So will people stop saying that Amir Burra is coming back? And frankly, it does disrespect to Curtis Davis, who I just not had. I don't think he's had a bad game yet, and he tries his art out, and he's doing really well there. We will skip. Nathan Field. Thanks for joining us, Nathan. Harris was quiet again. He just needs to find that consistency. Unfortunately, has a habit of going missing in certain games. I get what you mean there, Nathan. I think he was quiet up until probably about an hour gone, and then all of a sudden he decided to take a man on and go for runs there. It is frustrating because we all know how good Liam Harris is, and he's a match winner. He's won us so many games this year, and it was crying out was that game for a bit of Harris magic. But let's pay credit to Widnes' defence. They pushed up. They did. I said and I maintain they did the homework on the teams and that, and yeah, it was just very, very frustrating to see him all just starting to come into the game in the second half. But you'll get that. Liam Harris is not the only half-back that does that, who does that kind of thing of just drifting into games there, really.
He's got a partner out there as well. You've got to look at that. So there was uncharacteristic performance from Scott Griggs as well. I think we got a penalty to try and move upfield, and then he literally gets past the ball from the tap and drops it cold, and you're you'll never see that.
No, definitely. So. And he did come up with some really good stuff, did Scott Griggs as well. But again, he weren't the only one to make mistakes, and the book don't fall with him. Like I've said before, as an easy scapegoat is Scott Griggs, to be honest. But
because of his standing in as a coach, and because of who his brother is.
Yeah.
But I'm a big believer, and I know you are. It's a team game. We win as a team, we lose as a team, and it's as simple as that. So. But speaking of, I think, who was it that said that? Was it Riggers that said we need to change the team? Friend of the show, Connor Robinson.
Yes.
Bubbles certainly not bursting, lads. Can't win them all. That's what we said. But we'll be bigger and better. Can't see what you say back. Signal bad where I am. Well, that's what you get for living in the country. But like I say, Connor there, he'll be back after the COVID protocol. Poor lad missed out by 1 day. Should have played yesterday.
He'll be like a new signing, won't he?
Exactly.
He'll be like a new signing.
Chomping at the bit to use a ding.
Hey,
cliche.
There we go. Cliche bingo. But yeah, be absolutely fantastic to see you back there, Connor. And it will be a breath of fresh air to see you back, not least for the goal kicking, but also for the threat you have with ball in hand as well, and organisation and stuff.
Everyone's saying like Harris is going missing or whatever. Like, you remember what it was like when we had Harris at one position and Robinson at the other? We've sort of playing this pivot role where I think we talked about it before. It didn't matter who was running which line.
No.
The structure was so good that they were sort of, the defence couldn't get anywhere near him because the ball was moving so quickly and at such speed and in the perfect place every time that they just managed to get through. So I think him coming back in will do us some really good.
You could say it's like the perfect time for him to come back, isn't it? After a defeat, to raise spirits and raise morale, to see him come back.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see him come back. So yes, glad to see you watching, Connor, and can't wait to see you on the field on Sunday. Really, but yeah, It's a weird one. As I say, we've been spoilt the last couple of months. It's like in your interview. We haven't lost since May, which is bonkers when you think of it. Like best part of 3 months, really. We've done it since we've had a defeat, which is near unheard of for Halifax. So we have been spoilt, really. Yes, we can say, and we have been saying on this podcast that it is. We haven't been playing as well as we have done previously. It's a sign of a good team if we can play poorly and win. Sunday we played poorly and lost. You get that in rugby league, but as I say, give a bit of credit to Widnes. They turned up. They raised their game and they did well and fair play to them. You're gonna get games like that, to be honest, and hopefully they're few and far between. But as I say, I think it's a blessing in disguise. And we'll come back definitely for Swinton. If you are watching, there's loads more of joined since we've
I'm going to
started.
say, as EastEnders just finished. Hi everyone, welcome.
Yes, we're definitely finished before Love Island final. Just put that in there, just so I can get back home for that. Definitely. But yeah, get your comments in. Let us know what you guys think. Do you think it's a blessing in disguise, bubble burst, whatever? Kind of a theme for the show, isn't it? Let us know. Peter Woods, come on, thank you very much again, Peter. Can I elaborate on what Griggs said about loan signings in the RFL not approving because of the integrity of the competition? Is there a cut-off point for loan players? I believe that the RFL have put some restrictions in to stop teams loading in a load of players.
For the playoffs?
Yeah, just for the playoffs. And then there is a £20,000 £100 wage limit for those who
mate,
do come in. Come on, you're my inside man here, Rick.
Yeah, but this is something I'm going to ask him. I don't think Griggs has actually spoken about this yet. This is something I'm going to ask him in the interviews before the Swinton game. Is how we're looking, because we've had so many busted bodies. Are we going to be looking to bring anybody in? Is there anyone out there that we could get that would improve us and not just be a Ben Tibbs that we can put on the bench for 79 minutes? So
that's that.
I really don't
thing.
know, Peter, to be honest.
That is the thing. We don't just want numbers for numbers' sake. We want players who can make an impact and actually improve the team and do well, really. And they are few and far between. Me and Rick went to watch Keithley last week. Watched Scott Morrell in action. Good old Muzzer.
He got busted and
he got injured
field
as well, but the quality at League One is a big step down from the Championship.
Oh my days.
There are some good players in there. I'll shout out Jack Miller. I thought he's a quality halfback, and by all accounts he had a good game again on yesterday on there. But signing League One players, they're very few and far between, so unless you get kids from Super League who aren't necessarily ready for senior rugby, or you're going to get signings from bottom of the table Championship sides who again aren't going to improve us. So,
you pay for them.
Yeah,
simple as that.
Yeah.
You pay for them,
and then again it brings up the question: with what money are we going to pay for them? You could say that it's the decision to have quite a threadbare, a smaller squad than other teams has backfired. It dilutes the talent if you do that. If you have loads and loads of players, if you've not got the resources for it, you're not going to get a better class of player. And it swings and roundabouts. I'm happy with our squad. Yes, we've been unlucky with injuries, but you could say we've been quite lucky with injuries, bar Connor Robinson, up until the last couple of weeks, really, because we've kept players fit throughout the season, and we've had a relatively steady team selection in that respect.
We've got to be quite prudent as well. You've got to look at the fact that Super League's cutting the funding for the entire league next year, so we're going to have a massive drop in funding. Do we still would we rather have a signing on big money for this year, or would we rather it jeopardise our financials for next year? You know, we've had a good season. We've had a threadbare squad, as you've said, injuries and bans and all this sort of stuff. We're still third. Are we going to go all out and spend all this money and a chance at getting promoted in the same year that Toulouse are spending £1 million, Fev are spending 900 grand, whoever at York are spending all this money, although that hasn't worked out for them? You know, is it worth doing that, or is it worth seeing where we stand for next year? And if the money's the same next year, then we're like, all right, maybe we could have done it, but hindsight's 20/20 vision. So
yeah, of course it is.
We cannot spend money we don't have, because if we spend money that we don't have, we won't have a club to support, and that is the most important thing. Yeah,
and let's say we pull off the near impossible and do get up to Super League. We are nowhere near in a position to get into Super League right now. We don't want to look at Lee. Lee were in so much of a better position than us, and look what's happened. Even though they won the first game last night, do we really want to go up, not be ready, get thrashed every week, come back down, tails between his legs, and we're back to square one? We could be even back to square -1, because we could go back even further, because after 2003, no one wants to go and watch Halifax, because we're a losing team. We're a winning team at the moment. We need to still get bums on seats and feet on terraces. Let's just keep the momentum going, and I'm glad of where we're going at the moment. We've had 1 loss in 10. Let's put that into perspective.
Absolutely. Hey, I don't know about you, though. I'd rather go up and have the £1 million in the skyrocket.
But it's like, which players we want to sign? Will Brandon Moore want to go full time? Because again, he turned down Super League offers to stay at Halifax and that sort of thing. There's a growing amount of rugby league players who are turning down full time or Super League offers because they are more secure in their money, having a full-time job outside rugby league and then playing Championship on a weekend or whatever. The talent isn't there, and then you're going to dip your toe into the French or NRL market, where it's a big risk. Are you going to get a Thomas Bosco or a Wade Baregbo, whatever we were called? It's a bit of a lottery. Nathan Field has come with a brilliant point. Are we starting to see a backlash and loss of our academy team?
It's out of our hands.
Exactly. That wasn't our fault. Yeah,
because we did have those players there to plug those gaps, but it was taken out of our hands. We were denied a license by the RFL. There was absolutely nothing we could do about that. So, yes and no. because yes, we would have had those players to plug the gaps,
Yeah.
but no, because it's not our fault, mate.
Yeah, as I say, it's bigger than the club is that, and I'm sure that if the club had the choice, then yes, of course we'd be running with a academy or reserve grade or whatever. But again, funds, opportunities mean that we can't do that, unfortunately. So it's one of those there, really. But putting a positive spin on it, look at the team that we keep putting out and how many of those lads have come through our reserve grade and come through the youth clubs of Halifax. Will Calcott coming through Colville College and all that. Brandon Moore, Davis twins, Woodburn all coming through the reserve grade. We've done very, very well out of it. It's just a shame we can't carry that on, but we've got time to build again from what we're doing. And as I say, we're trying to finish as high as we can in the championship, get the competition money, have a crack at the playoffs, see where we were at. But I'm sure there is a lot of recruitment going in the background. We've already heard of one big rumour, thanks to a friend of the show, Matt Shaw, in terms of Matty G from Lee. Nothing official on that at the moment, but if you listen to Rugby League Live and read their stories and that, they're not far wrong usually. So it'd be good to see him at the club there. But
that's for next year.
Again, it's for next year. And as I say, we are not the only teams that are really, really putting players on this year are Fev and some Super League. There's loads of activity going on for next year, and it's up to them whether or not they make things public. Like we saw with Liam Harris, for instance. It was known for ages that Liam Harris was signing for us, but nothing was official for ages because Hull didn't want it to be public. Now, we could be having loads of those going on in the background, and we don't know. As I say, Matt Shaw put out a story saying that Matt G's signed for Halifax, whichever one you want to believe. Nothing from either Lee or Halifax at the moment, but rumours mean that there's something going on. There's no smoke without fire in that respect. But I'm sure that Simon Griggs and Ian Crode are doing their jobs, getting players on board for next year in what is a very attractive championship. Because you mentioned next year, there's most likely, without doing us disservice, it's either Toulouse or Fev that are going up. There's going to be
Toulouse. I don't even know anyone. Will be anybody else. Toulouse will get
right. Let's stick our neck out.
So
yes,
when Toulouse stick our neck out,
yeah,
they haven't lost the game yet.
No, they haven't, and they've not looked like losing a game apart from against us.
That's
ironically,
it's balmy.
Yeah. When they go up, is a big championship that's leaving, and Lee. I don't know what's going to be like. It's going to be an absolute lottery what they're going to be like. Are Fev going to be as strong? Don't know. Are York going to learn their lesson and sign more youthful players? We don't know.
London aren't going to stay full time.
London are going part-time, yeah, exactly. So it's will Batley be the same force? Because by all accounts, their star player, Luke Cooley's been courted by Super League clubs. Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those, really. I'm happy where we're at the moment. I'm like we mentioned, Oldham game. If we'd have said after the Oldham game, we're going to be third with 4 games left, is there? You'd have all bitten his arm off. So, again, perspective on these sort of things. Patience and perspective, all P's. We've had the B's at the start of the podcast. We've made our way to P's. Yeah. I know it's very, very hard. We're all fans, want to know these news, but let's take it one step at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 game at a time, and we'll be there.
That's it, because if you lose concentration, look what happens. It's happened this week, hasn't it? And it's cost us. So let's focus on the game in hand, and like you say, we'll crack on from there. Do you want to?
Yeah. Lyndon Grady, thanks for joining us again, Lyndon. Surely, though, don't you think if we did get into Super League, high caliber players would be interested in joining our beloved club? Thoughts, guys? You'd have thought so. And Simon Griggs is a very, very well respected figure within Rugby League. But like we've seen for Lee, you'd have thought teams would have been clamouring to sign for Lee, and they didn't necessarily. Halifax, are they a completely different beast? I don't know.
It's in God's country for a start.
It is, yes. It's the right side of the pennants for sure. We're blue and white rather than red and white and stuff. But It's one of those. What you might well find is that if we did get a Super League, because of the amount of Halifax players that are knocking around, it would be attractive for some of these guys going on loan. Morgan Gannon, for instance, would be great to get on loan if it was a Super League player. Riley Dean, for instance, these young Halifax-based players who, by all accounts, support Halifax. Why wouldn't they want to play for Halifax Super League? It's a win-win situation for their clubs playing Super League. They're going to be playing every week in that respect. Why not? So to answer your question there, Lyndon, but wherever that is, scroll up a sec, Rick. How can I think that our beloved club? Yes, I think they would do, but I don't think there'd be that many because there are other teams as well, unfortunately.
Hey, we're an attractive proposition with the rebrand and the one thing, and I've written here, I'll just go back to the Widnes game. For a quick second, atmosphere, because the atmosphere at Widnes was diabolical. I can't believe they were putting tweets out saying, "Oh, the crowd was bouncing and stuff." And I'm like, no, it wasn't. But without that drum, we lack that bit of
we
deal,
do.
You know what I mean? So,
and can I just like segue onto that as well? There is a worse run stadium than the Shea.
Oh yeah, unbelievable.
I didn't think it was possible. Has anyone else watching this podcast known of a ground where they shut the bar and food stores at half time?
Yeah. Warrington, and it's just down the road.
Really? It must be a Cheshire plastic scouser thing. I don't know. But the steward came up before they even put the announcement on the tannoy. I don't think there was anything on the tickets that said anything like that. Steward came up to us and said, "Oh, by the way, lads, they shut the bar at half time," and actually repeated it back to him. And I said, "So you're saying that the point where you would get a drink and some food, where you're not going to miss any of the game, that's when they close the bar, and then once the game starts again, they open it again for people to miss." And he goes, "Yes." And I said, "Do you realise how stupid that sounds?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's not me, mate." And it was just a balmy atmosphere. It was just, well, there weren't much atmosphere at all until Widnes started to win, but you could say that we were flat as well. It's one of those, really. It's weird. Every time I go over there, it seems to be weird.
Told you you'd have a meltdown. Right, let's get back to the comments. Get your comments in, by the way, guys. Let's keep this thing moving.
Peter Wood said, "The higher up the league you finish, the more money you get, plus Sky money for the playoffs. Surely must be funds available given the players who left." The fact of the matter is, we don't necessarily know
exactly much.
If
you come on to the next
one.
and
Pete was continuing. Watch an interview with Ian Crode on Rugby League back chat, albeit in 2006. Difference in league position can be 300 grand plus, but that is 5 years ago.
Nothing is set in stone for this year. Even the fact that we've only got 4 league games left and then the playoffs. No one knows what we're playing for next year yet. It's not been set out. The money's not laid out like it used to be in the 8. So that's the reason why I like the 8. You could plan for next year before you really got to the end of the season and then you dropped off a cliff. Because obviously, not knowing where we stand only benefits Super League. It doesn't benefit us. In fact, it hinders us all, doesn't it?
Yeah. So. Let's say you've got, as I mentioned before, the only teams that are making moves this year are the teams that have definitely got resources, and that's Fev and Toulouse, it seems, but also Leah signing for next year because obviously they've got Sugar Daddy Degsy on board, so he's pumping money in. We haven't got that at the moment, but as I say, it's one of those where I'm sure there's things going on in the background and there will be people who are interested. But again, money talks, and we've come out of a pandemic where people have lost jobs and all that sort of stuff, and people are thinking very much about life security. And as I say, it's one of those, do you take a chance and go full-time rugby where you're not going to play a la Chester Butler, but he seems to be permanently injured at the moment. I don't think he's even played a game for him yet, unfortunately. But we shall see. We'll see on that one. Some more things. Stephen Robertson says, "Robertson available this week, boys."
Ask him.
Conor Robinson, if you are still watching, Conor, let us know. We really want to see you back. And
tell you what, if you catch COVID this weekend, Conor,
yeah, but wear a permanent mask, stay indoors, don't mix with anyone.
Paint a big black cross on your door.
Yeah. Lyndon Gray's come and say maybe these Cheshire folks can't drink like us Yorkshire folk, and I agree. Well, Ian Colbert, thank you very much for joining us. He's replying to Stephen Roberts' comment about Robinson. He's on cloud 9 at the moment. Our first win of the season. He's a Leigh fan. And Marwan is thinking of joining us with Derek. Next thing, you'll be getting Judge Rinder to join you in that case. That with a dream trio. We have no game this weekend, so I'm thinking of making a trip to the Shea on Sunday to watch the old Leather Martin Ridyard. Yes, please come on. I think I've got a few Leather fans who may well make the trip as well. It would be great to see them. Yeah.
Under 16's free this weekend, so bring the kids, bring the family.
Definitely.
Perfect day to do it.
Definitely.
Bands on, bank holiday.
Yep.
Beer tent.
Yep.
Lovely stuff.
Definitely. As I said, lots of people saying, junior rugby and all that sort of stuff. Get these junior rugby people in the Shea. Get them through the gates. There's really no excuse this weekend. Get them through. But yeah, Lee did win. And again, my silly prediction of Lee definitely staying in Super League is a complete load of rubbish. Although, if they keep winning games, you never know. You never know these things. Never know these things. Would you rather have Lee down or Salford down for Marshall? Or
Not to have to go, unless they're playing at that stadium. I don't want to have to go to that nightmare of a motorway stadium.
Yeah,
bring Lee down, proper rugby league.
Exactly, better game, better ground. To be honest, there. But yeah, Martin Ridyard for Swinton. He's still a class act, still a class player, still got it there. It's the young players who seem to make the difference against Bradford yesterday, it seemed.
Let's come on to Swinton then, shall we?
Yeah.
As I've written here, like everyone's saying, we'll get back on the horse against Swinton. Swinton at the Shea are our bogey team.
God, yeah.
They have beaten us so many times when we've gone in thinking, we'll wipe the floor with ease and whatever, look at the league position, and they turn up, they run the same play 5 times and score 5 of exactly the same try. Who was it?
Liam
Marshall.
Yeah.
Scored 5 of exactly the same try. So, 2 words, must concentrate this weekend.
Definitely.
So it's going to have a good atmosphere, like I said, with all the festivities going on and everything, and with it being a bank holiday, people that have work going on. I've got a gig afterwards, so I won't be able to partake in the alcohol this week, unfortunately. But hopefully people will stick with us after the one, like we said, bump in the road or whatever, and get back down the Shea, because Widnes was a bit of a write-off that day. The atmosphere was flat, but you know what it's like when the Fax fans get in that south stand and the drums bouncing and the lads feed off that. So get behind your team this week and let's have a good Sunday for us all.
Definitely, can't agree more. To be honest with you, there. It's one of those where it is potential banana skin, and one of those again, like we mentioned before, like Widnes theoretically haven't really got much to play for this year apart from Pride, because they're not going down. Very much an outside chance of getting in the playoffs. Swinton are already down. They're playing for Pride / contracts either there or elsewhere. It's a dangerous proposition. And as I say, with someone like Martin Ridyard on there, along with other people, Roger Lloyd's a great player. That Hansen I rate as well. That halfback. They've got some good players there, and as I say, a team who's got nothing to lose play really, really good rugby, and they are dangerous, and they need to be taken serious on that one. Here we go, Nathan Field. Thank you very much. I've done the kind of this before, really, but let's focus on it. He says, our great run has now come to an end, gents. Is it worth a tip of the hat towards Simon Griggs and what an amazing job he is doing at the club? Here, bloody here. I said on Sunday that I've got a treasure trove of people who have messaged onto this page when times were hard, wanting Griggs out and stuff like that. I won't release those because it's slightly unfair.
To be fair to them, though, they did come on the stream and admit to it when you were goading them all.
So some haven't. Some have been conspicuous by their absence, I must say. But yes, Simon Griggs has done an absolutely fantastic job. Yes, times were hard in the spring. And like we said, it's always been the games were poor, we lost, we played rubbish, but it was too soon to make any kind of judgment on that, and he's turned it around massively. The players deserve a lot of credit as well. It's not just a coach. The coach is in a very untenable position where if we're going to win and run, the players do well. If it's rubbish, then the coach always gets it. It is a team effort. I'm sure Simon Griggs would deflect it as well if he got any praise on that. It is the players. But again, it's Simon Griggs who's done it. They've come together, and I think, like we said against the Oldham game, didn't like a few go out for a few beers after Oldham game? I saw something like one of those games. A few went out, and I think it was Zach McComb on the interviews who said that the upturn of form has come from COVID restrictions being relaxed and they could actually socialise as a team. and that sort of thing, because it must be really, really hard to get combinations on the pitch going as well, but when you don't spend any time together, you don't know how people click.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it must be really hard. But the coaching staff and the players have a massive amount of credit. And like I keep saying, it's 1 loss from 10. And you could probably even more because we lost against Featherstone and then we'd won a couple before then as well. So we've lost how many games? 4 games all season.
4 out of 18.
Yeah, exactly. So we're having a very, very good season. And
17.
Yeah, and we were 3rd bottom at one point. So we've done a marvellous. And yes, Simon Grix deserves all of the credit. Well, not all, most of it. The players deserve a lot of credit.
Job's
as
not
well.
done yet, though. As you know, we're going to peak in the playoffs and we're going to play the best rugby of the year in the playoffs, like Leeds used to do.
Exactly.
It'd be garbage till the back end of the year, and then all of a sudden they'd just snap the fingers and
It's
turn into world beaters overnight.
It's just popped into my head in 2010 when something happened. I can't.
Oh, yeah.
I won't say what, but you know, we lost against Lee, and it was. I remember fans baying for Calland and saying, and I said, and my family and friends will back me up on this, we'll go and win the league now. We will go and win the league. And do you know what?
You are the oracle, sir.
My predictions, bar Lee staying in Super League, are pretty spot on, to be honest with you. And also choosing Lee for Super League. Well, the one that Wakara chose Lee for Super League. But anyway, more often than not, my predictions do seem to come true. Apart from when I put bloody money on it.
That's it.
But yeah, I'm not saying we're going to go win the league after this slump, but
please do. If you predict it might come true.
I did say when we did lose to Oldham that it was our low water mark. It's going to get better. It is the turning point in our season, and we've been proved right. So I told you so. But yeah, it's not those. We're all fans together, and Grixie and all the boys, including the staff, have done an amazing job. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for that.
I totally agree, Nathan.
And Lyndon Grady, wow,
big shout.
He's come with an absolute grenade. Grixie has done better than Richard Marshall so far.
Right, so there's in the absence of James's big question. Everyone listening still, do you agree with Lyndon there? Who's done better, Grixie or Richard Marshall? If you look at Marshall, obviously took us to within 80 minutes of the £1 million game, and then you've got Grixie that got us to although it was with Marshall's team, a semi-final of a Challenge Cup, 10-game winning streak, 9-game winning streak. I think they've done pretty much similar.
It's too soon to make a proper comparison, really. Marshall had 4 full seasons. 15, 16, 17, 18, and 4.5.
And 19.
Yeah. Grixie's not even had 1 full season yet, really. They had half of 2019, 3-4 games in 2020, and then this season. So I think it's too soon for comparisons yet. But one thing is for certain, he's doing a very, very good job. That can't be denied. And he has definitely answered some of the critics who were saying that his win percentage is rubbish, he's done this, that, and the other. Yeah, he's proved them wrong, and long may that continue. The way it's going is going to certainly push Marshall close for that, and the only kind of thing I worry about in terms of a Halifax point of view is, will he go the same way as Marshall in terms of getting a Super League job? Because it deserves it, because that's the pinnacle of coaching career in this country, is coaching in Super League. And Marshall's doing all right. Yes, they lost against Lee yesterday, but he's doing all right, and they've made some encouraging signings, and the Salford fans are warming to him after a bit of a shaky start.
Not from what I've read online, personally, but we run in different circles, don't we, Michael?
Yeah, yes, we do. Right, there were some comments going through. So yes, Peter Wood has come back. You need to mute your notifications.
I know, it's my NFL fantasy football drafts going on at the minute, so there's about 17 messages at a time. So sorry, man.
If people weren't falling asleep already, they're definitely going to do now. Hang on, there we go. Peter Woods responded, they probably have similar influences, both work with Tony Smith. Grix will be a success.
Absolutely.
Yes, agree. Grix will be a success. He was a success as a player, desperate and lucky for injuries. If he stayed fit, Grix would have had a lot of Great Britain caps, a lot of representative caps there. He played a few times for Ireland, but he would have worn Great Britain shirt for sure.
Oh, yeah.
He was a class act as a player. And
would have gone to the NRL for me.
Yeah.
100% would have gone to one of the most naturally gifted rugby league players that there's ever been produced in this country with Simon Griggs.
Definitely, just one of the worst luck with injuries I've ever seen in a rugby league player.
And so that's a big statement for me. One of the most naturally gifted. They still can't get his name right when they're talking about him on Radio Leeds, can they? And here's the interview with Scott Griggs.
Yeah, awful. But yeah, completely agree there. Who said that?
Peter.
Pete Wood. Yeah, completely agree. Griggs will be a success, both with us and also in the future, if/when he does get a Super League gig there. Lyndon says on comparison, he's done loads better.
Why don't you read shit?
Because we're a family podcast.
There is nobody.
We're a family
80.
show.
There's nobody under 8. There's nobody under 50. I don't think.
It's a family show. It's a family show. I'm not a foul-mouthed yob like you, Rick. Anyway,
my bad. And yet one of us stands on the terraces and one of us does the work. So anyway, moving on.
Nathan Fields says, playing devil's advocate, did Marshall have more money to spend than Griggs?
I would say so.
Oh,
I would say so.
Yeah, but he
won 670 his first year.
Yeah.
Although we had the lowest budget in the league at the year that we made the playoffs the first time round. So
yeah, we did.
But
also he chose to put more money into the reserves, which has produced the players that we're seeing now. So I just think it's a bit too soon for proper comparisons there, and maybe it's unfair to compare them, really. They're two different kind of coaches there. James is here, moonlighting as his missus. Thank you very much, James and Sophie.
Get your question in, Jim.
Let's compare coaches after a few more years. Marshall did amazing things for us, getting us in the top four so many times. Completely agree. Yeah, Griggs has had, as I say, he's only had one full season. 2019 was a bit of a weird one, but he got us to the semi-final of a cup, albeit with Marshall's team, but he was still the coach. He still had to motivate the players and choose the team and had the tactics and that sort of stuff, and it obviously played a part in the rather flat end to the season, really, there. Get more comments in. Let us know.
Yeah, we're going to wrap up in about 5 or 10 minutes, so get your comments in if there's anything else you want to talk about before we go, and we'll briefly touch on what we think will happen on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. What else can we talk about? There's not right much going on, to be honest. There,
but
really.
Nobody has anything to say after we get battered.
Yeah,
so.
I know. One thing I will say is that the Championship is loads better than Super League, bar the Hull Derby.
Apart from the Hull Derby.
Hull Derby was absolutely brilliant.
If we could have 22 Hull Derbies a year, we'd be in good stead, wouldn't we?
Definitely. We just need Sky to pay us attention, really. But they are showing playoff game, which is fair enough, which is good, which is better than nothing. But we've not really heard much about what's happening next year in terms of a TV deal there. But we shall see on that one. Stephen Robert Shaw, any more injuries and players getting disciplined? We won't have a sub bench in playoffs. Lone players needed. Again, Stephen, are the players available? We don't just want to sign loan players for the sake of it. We don't just want numbers there. We want players to challenge and improve.
It's a funny one with it being win percentage. Like, it's affecting Super League so much that these playoff positions can get. Yeah. So they're like, do I want to let one of my guys go that I might need? Because if he gets stood down for COVID, it's a total minefield with it all. So I don't think the players, not only the players might not be there that would be there in other years, but Super League was like, well, I'd rather hang on to him because if he goes there and catches something or whatever, then we're screwed.
Or gets injured and that. Yeah.
Because the win percentage thing, I hope after this year, when this was the only year they needed it, just because of Toulouse, if Toulouse get promoted, they scrap it forever and we never see it ever again because that has been horrendous to work out.
It's just rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. Lyndon Gray's come out. Sky aren't showing in playoff games because Wigan can't turn up, especially against the likes of Saints. Wigan were a bit shocking, to be honest. Amir Burra played, but he had first introduction to the game was rather comical, really. But it's no wonder he wants to leave Wigan. If he comes back, Wigan want to keep him, and he's benched for someone who don't play hooker, who's not an hooker. It's just daft. I think Adrian Land's on borrowed time there, to be honest. But
I think he's already announced he's leaving, isn't he?
Is he?
I think so.
I've missed that. I've been busy.
Watching Love Island.
Quality television.
And you call the NFL
not this year. Not this year. Well, it's still a load of namby-pambies walking around for a little bit of a while. What we're going to say? I'm going to say, no one. He's going to do well as Amir Burke. He's going to Salford under Richard Marshall, and we know what Richard Marshall's like in terms of getting players and improving them. Case in point, Brandon Moore. If he can do what Brandon Moore's done and even better, then they're on to something.
Anyway,
good
thank you for your efforts, Samir, but can we never mention you ever again? You're coming back to us. You've played a few games this year.
Yeah.
You're going to sign for Salford. You're a Wigan player. Thank you, mate. Have a good rest of your season.
Yeah,
Let's
and
never
Lyndon
mention that
Grady's
name on here
literally
again.
said, "Can we get Amir back possibly?"
We said this earlier on. He's signed for Salford. He's playing for Wigan. There's not a chance in hell we're ever going to get Amir back, I'm afraid.
Unfortunately.
He was good. He did as well, but put your beliefs behind Curtis Davis because that boy can play.
Definitely, he's given a chance. He's proving us right. He's proving us right at the moment. It's Curtis Davis, and yeah, I mean, even if we want to sign Amir Burrow back, we can't because of the rules that are in place. But yeah, no worries. It's sailing. It's fine. Don't worry. No one listens to us anyway, so it's all fair and good. Yeah, let's look forward to Sunday. Let's look forward to Sunday now. There may well be a bit of a selection dilemma because of a certain Mr. Robinson coming back.
I don't think it's a dilemma after the way we played yesterday, to be honest. You've got to play Harris and Robinson, and then it's between either Grixie or Woody for fullback, depending on how Woody pulls up after yesterday. So
exactly. So would you put Scott Griggs to fullback and then Robinson and Harris in the halves, or would you put Saltonstall at fullback, Tibbs on the wing? That sort of thing there, because I love James Saltonstall at fullback.
I honestly can't decide. I don't think it really matters who's at fullback potentially, because the way we've been playing, it's not been a key position in our attack. I just think we need to get those two halfbacks that we signed to play there, and get them playing. I think we said this: get them settled and get the combinations firing for the playoffs, and let's get moving. Man.
Definitely, yeah. No, I completely agree. I would put Conor Robinson in with Harris for sure.
Everyone's saying like, oh, we need to. What about playing with his interchange? Joker, we've said it hundreds of times. Robinson was signed as a halfback. He won awards as a halfback. He will play a halfback. Yeah,
exactly. And he's just going back to square one for him. Playing him at hooker or loose forward or whatever. He's got number 7 on his CR7. He's our CR7. Needs to be playing halfback, and let's try not to fit square pegs in round holes for the sake of it. He's an halfback. Let's play him at halfback. Griggs has done well in terms of playing halfback since he's been injured and stuff. It's a bit of a masterstroke. He's done incredibly well, but Scott Griggs is a natural fullback. Maybe it'll do him good to come back into fullback if Woody is injured. I don't know. I just love James Saltonstall fullback. Like Eddie Hemmings did an unofficial brace for Britain back in the day. How going to run Salty for fullback? Because he's just class. He's a class player anyway. I just think he has more impact at fullback. But
you're looking at Woody. In the centres there, because obviously the centres didn't do much apart from Worthington and half decent game. Barber didn't do anything to warrant it. We're light on forwards. Is it time to put Barber back into the pack?
Yeah,
I don't know. But again, as we keep saying, this is why Grixie gets paid the big bucks, and why we're sat here talking to you wonderful people on a Monday evening.
Exactly. We don't know what goes on behind in training sessions and behind closed doors and all that sort of stuff there. Sophie / James, he said, you need to mute your notifications, Yeah. Robinson must play, Peter Wood says. Need his pace and desperately need his goal kicking. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. He just, not necessarily his pace, he's just buzzers, does Conor Robinson. He's a buzzer in the nicest possible way. He's just, he never stands still. He just makes things happen, and hopefully Harris has learnt quite a bit from Griggs in the time that he's played, and they come together a bit more mature partnership, and maybe start something great.
Some of the comments he's been putting on here over the weeks as well, he knows what's at stake for us. He knows how much we all care about it, and he'll take that onto the field with him now, I'd like to think.
Definitely.
And be the leader that we signed him to be.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he said it last year when we spoke to him on the podcast when he just signed and stuff. He feels like he's coming back home. He wants to be the main man. He thrives under that pressure, replacing someone like Scott Morrell and that. And yeah, give it to him, because he says he's chomping at the bit. He's been out for 3-4 months. Something like that now, has he?
Since the Feb game.
Yeah, he's been out since then.
Which is crazy, because we're saying he's got to play, and we've pretty much won every game since then. And
I said a bit tongue in cheek that there's no correlation between us going on a massive winning run and Conor Robinson being injured. But we won games with Conor Robinson as well. We'll say that. But it was so great, and then like I said before, it'll be like a new signing because we've completely changed since that Oldham game and the weeks following that. We're a completely different team. He played in that Newcastle game that we went up there, and he were brilliant in that game as well. So it's not just been the Scott Grix, Liam Harris show kind of thing. Conor Robinson has done his bit, not just in goal kicking, and I can't wait to see him back on the field. It'll hopefully rejuvenate everyone really there. James/Sophie. They've done their questions. Shall we do another comparison this week, Ricardo? Question: make a team of current players that are born in Halifax, 13 and subs. Born in Halifax or junior club based in Halifax. Right, well, I'll have to do some research because I'm sure there's some players who claim they're from Halifax, but they're not. Like the King brothers, are they actually from Halifax or are they Huddersfield? Or because I've heard that they are from Halifax but played rugby in Huddersfield, like certain other players in the past day.
I'm giving nothing away, me. I'm keeping my secret until the movie. So yes, we will get your question answered during the week and put something out, Jim. And if anyone else wants to jump on board with that, current players that are born in Halifax, 13 and subs, either born in Halifax or played at a junior club in Halifax.
Yeah, then hopefully I'll win this time.
We'll see. But anyway, Swinton at home. That's what we're thinking about.
Score predictions.
Oh, God. Any win will do.
Yeah.
Was that Josigan, the technical and facts fan?
Connor and his multicoloured boots. Hopefully kicking us to victory. I think we are going to put a lot of points on Swinton. I think we are. I think if there's one game that we are... Oh, right. Sorry, I'm going mad here. Yes, I think we're going to score a lot of points. A big victory, hopefully. Fingers crossed, touch wood. But yes, thanks for everyone for watching tonight. Not the greatest podcast to do after a loss, but first one in 10. It's bound to happen. Hopefully, we'll see you next week after a winning performance from the boys, wearing Eclipse Energy on their shirts.
Eclipse Energy!
And delivery on the dugouts. Yes,
absolutely.
So you'll see them there. And from myself, Mike Hagan, him, Rick Farrell, thank you for joining us. See you next week. And most importantly, up the Facts Panthers!
Up the Panther boys.